Fullerton's new city council. Voters recalled 3 of the city's 5 council members in the primary, but the debate rages on in the court of public opinion over the 3 new council members who replaced them, as well as the wealthy property owner who funded the recall campaign. David Nazar, what's the story?
Rick, in Fullerton, it's the tale of 2 city visions. A businessman and blogger who spearheaded the recall says he did it because the city simply needed better leadership, versus a financial advisor and planning commissioner who organized the anti-recall effort, who insists the opposition used the death of a schizophrenic homeless man to further their hidden agenda. The city of Fullerton came under national scrutiny last year after the death of Kelly Thomas. Thomas was the mentally ill man who got into a confrontation with Fullerton cops last summer. Thomas died on July 5th, 5 days after that altercation. Now, 2 of the cops are facing criminal charges. A media frenzy swept through Fullerton after the brutal images of Thomas's beaten face hit the internet. The city council was at the center of the firestorm because 3 councilmen remained silent instead of responding to the public outcry for the cops to be taken off the streets and for the resignation of the police chief, Michael Sellers. Sellers eventually went on paid medical leave without ever addressing the public about what had happened. Tony Bushala is a lifelong Fullerton resident. He and his family own multiple industrial and commercial buildings in that city. More importantly, Bushala is the founder of Friends for Fullerton's Future. The little-known blog that mostly reported on city business and city problems became a household name in the wake of the Kelly Thomas beating, repeatedly posting stories on the case that the media followed. In the last year, Bushala has spent nearly $300,000 of his own money to oust Fullerton council members Don Bankhead, Richard Jones, and Pat McKinley. That investment paid off for Bushala because the trio was recalled on June 5th.
There were outcries in the community. There was city council meetings. They were packed with people from Fullerton, people from all over, asking the city council to make the police chief do his job, get those 6 cops off the streets. The city council would not do that. The 3 city councilmen that are being recalled would not do that. What happened after Kelly was murdered, there was a cover-up, and everybody knows that.
And that is the only reason why Bushala says he spent so much of his own personal money to fund the campaign.
I'm not buying that. He's had a political vendetta against these 3 council people and has run active campaigns against them.
That's Larry Bennett. Bennett says he doesn't like Bushala. Bennett works as a financial advisor in Fullerton and is also one of the city's planning commissioners. Bennett organized the anti-recall effort. He fought for nearly a year to have Bankhead, Jones, and McKinley keep their council jobs.
Kelly Thomas began the opening salvo of the recall effort. We talked very little about Kelly Thomas in the intervening months, and he closed on the Kelly Thomas incident. In the meantime, he talked about water taxes, pension debts, and the city infrastructure. So this guy had it out for these council members long ago. He just carried through, and this became his perfect storm for launching the recall.
I was so passionate about the fact that you cannot walk away and cover up the murder of anybody in your community and walk away from it. You can't do that. I've been shining the light on our electeds in North County for the last 3.5 years through my blog, and I do it with my money. I've done it in the past, and I'll continue doing that in the future.
Bennett claims the only reason Bushala funded the recall effort was for personal financial and political gain.
When it's one person behind the recall and he pumps $300,000 into the recall, you got to ask yourself what's up with that.
What was the deal there in your opinion?
I believe he wanted to have his people on the council. He not only actively campaigned against these 3 guys, he actively campaigned for his 3 people.
By having his so-called 3 people on the council, as you say, how does that benefit him?
Well, when you have 3 of 5, you literally have control of the council.
Could you be a little too chummy and a little too cozy with the new council members because you know them well? You guys are friends.
Yes. Well, I've actually, for the last 25 years, I've been friends with lots of the city councilmen. And if I, needed access, I had it. So if it was access that I needed and friends that I needed on the city council, it was easily accessible. It would have, if that's what I wanted, I didn't need to recall them.
Could there be a possibility that these 3 new council members could breathe some fresh life or some new blood into the city?
Sure, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think anytime the voters have spoken, you've got to respect that.
And as for the new city council folks, Travis Kiger is a good friend of Tony Bushala's. Kiger is an IT exec, and Kiger basically runs Bushala's Friends for Fullerton's future website. Greg Seaborn is another friend of Bushala's and is an executive for a surveying company and a part-time educator at a college. And Doug Chafee is a local attorney and has run for the Fullerton City Council over the past several election cycles. Bushala has opposed Chafee in the past, Rick.
Well, you know, Bushala and his family own a lot of properties in Fullerton. It's hard to prove a negative, so I guess everyone will just have to wait and watch this council and see what happens. But, you know, I'll tell you this. I was talking with OC Supervisor Sean Nelson, who's a former Fullerton council member, who doesn't think Bushala is being motivated by personal gain. In fact, Nelson told me that if Bushala asks for one piece of legislation from this council, he'll give me $1,000. So, David, watch this closely. Let me know if there's any funny business. And now, David, there's been another development here in this case. There's been a lawsuit filed by a bouncer who was fired from the Slide Bar restaurant in Fullerton. That's right by the parking lot where the whole Kelly Thomas incident occurred. And this bouncer claims in his lawsuit that someone at the Slide Bar made a call to police, falsely reporting that Thomas was breaking into cars the night of the altercation. That's what brought the cops out. And according to the bouncer, Kelly Thomas was loitering, and the bar just wanted to get rid of him. The owner of the bar and his lawyer vehemently deny this, and they say the bouncer is a disgruntled former employee. What's going on?
Well, the rumors of this false report actually have been circulating since last year. In fact, I made many attempts to verify this story, and the Slide Bar attorney, Eric Dubin, denied the story to me. Also, that's why I chose not to report on it back then.
Okay, David.